There's a system in place to contain you. This is to make the common people work hard for the benefit of a small minority. The small minority wants to be certain that the ordinary person never does anything to upset the system. Regardless of this, the opportunity for ordinary people to transform their lives has never been greater. Control and dependency are becoming things of the past. Let's understand the position of the average person and see how that person can take their lives to levels we never thought possible. I've gained my perspective from the practice of medicine and my role in the care of countless people from many walks of life. I watch folks struggle with their physical health and financial health. Some people have tremendous physical reserve and resiliency while others do not. Some people are in control of their finances while others are not. Everyone has struggled with life's challenges to various degrees. As a physician, my role is to promote the well-being of my patients above all else. I recognize that now more than ever, each of us must be committed to our own ongoing personal development, the development of mind and spirit to actualize our potential in today's world, which offers so much more than in times past. I would like my patients to pursue their personal development as arduously as they seek health care, knowing that a robust mind-body connection will improve health and every dimension of life. Outside of loving relationships, financial well-being is the overwhelming priority. This is interesting because money is very much within our control. Each of us should have plenty of money. There's no good reason why not. It's largely up to us whether we are frankly poor, struggling, financially comfortable, or wealthy. Each of us can have the money we need to be financially independent. That means that we have enough money so that we no longer have to worry about money. We can buy all the experiences and opportunities we want for ourselves. That said, making money is still not as easy as it should be. There are many barriers to our success. A broken financial system, government, ultra-rich families controlling governments and central banks to protect their own interests. We've inherited limiting beliefs from our parents and associates, and these get reinforced throughout our lives. Even religious institutions have tried to control people throughout history, and some continue to do so, not wanting people to lose their sense of dependency, gain autonomy, and reach their full potential. We need to recognize these obstacles for what they are and simply move past them. Let's explore the system into which we were born and live and discuss how to maneuver and position ourselves successfully. We are transcendent beings, meaning that we are superior to circumstance. We are animated by a life force, a God force that gives us infinite potential. The natural world, our home, is designed to respond to us and provide for us with a splendid abundance. We live in a system, however, that was constructed to control us for the benefit of a select few. They were here first, they have a grip on power, they aren't going anywhere willingly, and they aren't letting go easily. When you look at the world order, it's readily apparent that the system is not designed for people to be rich. If we divided all of the wealth in the world among all of the people, everybody would be a millionaire. But the system is designed so that only a few people have the wealth, while the vast majority of people have very little. The way this works has come down from thousands and thousands of years. The system is designed so that if you and I work really, really hard, it will give you just enough cash to keep you from revolting. The material world is really owned by just a few people. About 500 to 1,000 families own the entire world. They own the financial institutions, banking systems, and governments. They control armies. This small minority of people who maintain control decide everything for you. They dictate the price of your home, what your mortgage terms will be, interest rates, your car payments, everything. An energy pattern of control and restriction is imposed and maintained. The goal is to keep everybody bottled up. The folks who control everything don't want ordinary people to come up out of the pack and become too self-empowered. And don't expect the government to intervene. Throughout history, every government has let every society down every time. Governments are essentially individuals looking after their own interests. They're looking after their own power unit. They're looking after their own re-election. They aren't really worried about you starving. They don't care if you don't make your next car payment. They get to spend your cash. They make you pay for their creativity. And if they run out of money, they just print some more, reducing the value of the money you've worked hard to save. We've inherited a global financial system where first world nations have loaned enormous wealth to third world countries. All of this money, your money, has gone out, and these countries are struggling to pay it back. Mexico is an excellent example. In the 1980s, Mexico had a debt of around 100 billion, and they made about 7 to 8 billion per year in oil revenues. So if the interest on their debt was 7 to 8%, then all of the oil revenue was needed every year just to service the debt. The Americans aren't getting their money back, and the Mexicans aren't getting out of debt. When oil prices fell, the American people were literally wiring money down to Mexico so Mexico could wire the money back to the banks so that nobody would default on the debt. It's like you're getting billed as an average American for something that has nothing to do with you. And the average Mexican is paying for a debt they never agreed to. We came off the gold standard in 1946, and the government expanded the supply of money by 300%. Well, the country only grew about 25 to 30% in the same amount of time. So there's a lot of money out there, the dollars you and I are working hard to earn, that really don't have any value at all. Problems of this nature contributed to the collapse of the financial system in 2008, and while this resulted in certain corrections, the large systemic issues remain. This is the system that you and I were born into. This is a system we can do very little to change. This is the system you and I have got to surmount for our own financial independence. We were born to parents who were deeply influenced by the system. We were taught that you have to work hard to make money. Well, the people who run the system sold them that because they want them to work hard for them. And we have bought into that working hard is how you make money. Making money has nothing to do with working hard, effort, or struggle. In fact, effort or struggle will make you very little money. Making money is about having a product or service that's an expression of your creativity and energized by your passion for service. People want to be a part of who you are, what you're doing, and they show up. Money is made when they pay you for it. Making money is a simple transference of energy. Working hard is honorable when it's on your terms, when it's you working for yourself. As children, we are exposed to a multitude of ideas and beliefs, and we absorb these like sponges with no ability to filter or discriminate. A lot of the philosophies we inherited were designed to make sure that nobody gets wealthy. We inherited these expressions of lack. For example, we were taught to save for a rainy day. Well, when we believe that disaster is coming, that belief helps to ensure that the disaster happens. We learn the expression filthy rich. This expression associates wealth with the misuse of money, when in fact money allows us to be generous and kind and helpful in the world. We learn that money corrupts. Again, an expression associating wealth with some sort of misdemeanor or shady activity. We've been taught money is the root of all evil. You're not holy if you're rich. If you do too well, nobody will like you. Money will corrupt you. You'll be endlessly defending your money. If mom and dad were fighting over the rent, then you have that in your subconscious mind. If your mother was into saving coupons, then that's in your mind. Save coupons, there won't be enough to eat. Eat the leftovers, do this, do that. We inherited these ideas. Now, I don't agree with being wasteful. It's just that so many of these ideas came out of a generation when there was a depression with a great amount of difficulty where people simply weren't ready for a more transcendent, more fluid understanding of money. We've discussed how our hearts and minds generate an electromagnetic energy field that surrounds us. This field influences others, with our heart's electrical signature being measurable in the brain waves of those people around us. Literally, our hearts shaping their thoughts. When you walk through a crowd of people, say in a supermarket or shopping mall, you are having energy interactions with all of those people. We've all experienced this. You walk into a mall and before long you're completely exhausted. Well, why does this happen? It's because everyone in the mall has their energy resonating around them. Your feelings are resonating around you, and everybody else is literally taking some of that energy from you while giving you their energy at the same time. Every time someone makes eye contact with you, every time they touch you, every time they pass you, a part of you leaves with them, and a part of them will leave with you if you allow it. To compensate, you react by holding your energy in, holding this power to yourself, rather than releasing it to go to work for you. When you're standing next to someone in a supermarket and they're projecting lack, if you have lack inside your mind, this person's unconscious influence will increase the lack that you have. The only way to prevent this, and their presence from dragging you down, is to already have a forward projection of energy and expanding energy in your mind. Your energy needs to already be attracting abundance, your widespread increase, good fortune, and wealth before anyone gets close enough to influence you. You will be positively changed. They will not negatively change you. Sadly, even religious institutions can work to hold us down. In medieval times, the churches owned all of the land while the common people lived in squalor and were often starving. When the people protested, the answer was that there was a reward waiting for them in the afterlife. You deserve to suffer now, the clergy would say. After all, you're nothing more than a worm in the sight of God and wretched. But don't worry, there'll be plenty for you in heaven. Much the same, Christian slave owners taught their slaves to accept suffering and bondage because paradise was waiting for them the moment they died. As Reverend Ike puts it, you'll get your pie in the sky by and by when you die. That's all very well, but we want our experiences now. We want to enjoy all that life has to offer right now. We don't want to wait for the afterlife. And true religion offers you freedom now. When you think about all the limiting belief patterns that people have adopted, you can see why they aren't rich, why they don't have any cash. You get back exactly what you put into universal law. When you don't understand it, when you haven't been taught, you put in for struggle, difficulty, hard work, lack, not enough, and universal law gives all that back to you. And then folks say, life's really hard, not having a clue about how it works. As you become aware of the system that was constructed to contain you, there are a few things to keep in mind. First, universal law is more powerful than any system. You are a transcendent being. There is a life force, a God force within you. By directing your thoughts, you can direct and focus your energy. You can attract circumstances, events, people, and money. And the natural world is designed to provide for you with splendid abundance. This will always be true. Work with the principle, and the principle will work for you. The truth about wealth and abundance will ultimately prevail over restrictions, constraints, governments, banks, currencies, and certain individuals. Live in the process of attracting abundance. And for you to get out of that energy pattern, you have to generate and project a certain amount of transcendent energy. Because the system will never look after you. It's not designed to. In 2011, we witnessed the Occupy Wall Street movement, protesting social and economic inequality, greed, corruption, and corporate influence on government, especially in the financial sector. The Occupy Wall Street slogan was, "We are the 99%, referring to the vast differences between the wealthiest 1% and the rest of the population. Well, you can rant and rave all you want, but it won't do anything for you. The mastery of money is not necessarily about being very, very wealthy. It's about being in control of your finances. When you're in control, you earn enough to buy all the experiences you'll ever want while spending less than you earn and never having to worry about money. When you arrive at a place where you love what you do, your work, your home and car are paid for, you have all the delicious food you want, you're able to go out to nice restaurants and events, and you can take several nice vacations per year, then there's very little difference in terms of quality of life between you and a multi-billionaire, the richest person out there. They can't breathe cleaner air, eat better food, enjoy more loving relationships, wear much nicer clothes, or travel to more places than you can. They can travel by private jet, cruise on private yachts, stay at fancier hotels, resorts, or even private islands, but there's a limit to the amount of creature comfort anyone can experience. You want to be close enough to that limit so it doesn't matter to you anymore. And everyone is perfectly free to experience as much happiness, joy, satisfaction, and fulfillment as anyone else. I recommend a two-pronged solution. Build the transcendence, positive expectation, and magnetic attraction within yourself while shedding the self-limiting beliefs that are woven into your psyche. Ultimately, it's up to you to pull yourself out of a system that isn't designed to assist you. Unless you are resonating an energy of everlasting supply from within yourself and you resonate it powerfully and strongly, you'll be dragged down by all of the negative influences around you. You need to raise your energy, gain clarity, and invest yourself in a product or service that you're really excited about and really love. This energy will attract the right circumstances and people towards you. They'll appear in droves to buy from you. Money responds to these feelings. When you feel confident about it, it begins to be there. And when these people arrive, be ready to serve them and receive payment from them. Use that energy to stay excited about the game, even if you feel like you're still sitting on the sidelines. And you have to be organized, you have to be centered, you have to know what it is you want, and you have to begin to go for it. And if you can't go for what you want quite yet because you're stuck in a job just to maintain yourself, then at least you can use fake it until you make it energy. Begin to move towards your goal. Nature will respond to your efforts and bring you the people and breaks you need to take the next step. Fearlessly grasp the opportunities that appear before you. And you have to have fiscal discipline. Fiscal discipline means taking stock of what you earn, then spending less than you earn so you can de-escalate debt and develop liquidity. It's following the 10% rule, where you pay yourself 10% of everything you earn first. The rest can go for debt, bills, expenses, and recreation. Budget until this is true for you. As you pay off debt, your whole energy begins to calm down. You feel yourself beginning to exit the rat race, this cycle of working, earning, and paying bills but without any progress. You'll feel in control, and the opportunities you need to make money will find you. To pull yourself up, to align yourself with wealth and abundance, you need an attitude of genuine appreciation and commitment to service. Jean Ariema, head of women's basketball at University of Connecticut, gives us a coach's perspective. Jean says, recruiting kids that are really upbeat, loving life, love the game, have a tremendous appreciation for when their teammates do something well, that's really hard. We put a huge premium on body language. If your body language is bad, you will never get in the game. Never. I'd rather lose. So when I'm watching game film, I'm checking the bench. And if somebody's asleep or somebody doesn't care or somebody's not engaged in the game, they will never get in the game. Ever. And life and opportunity are like that. If life sees you as somebody who is asleep, doesn't care, not engaged, then life passes you by. But when you're upbeat, loving life, loving the game, having appreciation, then life puts you in the game. Begin by seeing abundance in those things you already have. You say, around me I have this, and I see beauty and abundance in it. And you create feelings of abundance that affirm, things are working out, I'm on the right track. Then as you become more and more confident, as your surplus income grows, you know it's working. Your transformation means you go beyond the old stuff, the old garbage. So take some time and ask yourself, what's stopping money from reaching me? What are the feelings inside of me that don't allow me to be wealthy? What do I really feel about money? Identify your limiting beliefs. Perhaps deep down you believe that I don't deserve money. I don't deserve to be happy. I never win. If I do too well, my friends won't like me anymore. I'll have to move away and these are my people. Or God wants me to be poor. We can have hundreds, even thousands of limiting beliefs. Even if you're aware of some self-limiting beliefs you'd like to get rid of, it's impossible to identify all of them. And even if you could, how to get rid of them? The best way to correct limiting beliefs is to use verbal affirmations, statements you make out loud and repeat day after day with a commanding tonality. These statements start in your mind, are carried through your voice, resonate throughout your body, and are direct commands to your subconscious mind and every fiber of your being. You'll notice changes within days. I use verbal affirmations from folks like Bob Proctor and Florence Scovel Chin. I repeat these daily, out loud, several times per day in a commanding and authoritative voice so the messages overwrite and replace my old programming. It goes like this. Infinite Spirit, open the way for the divine design of my life to manifest. Let the genius within me now be released. Let me see clearly the perfect plan. Infinite Spirit, open the way for the divine design of my life to manifest. Let the genius within me now be released. Let me see clearly the perfect plan. Infinite Spirit, open the way for my immediate supply. Let all that is mine by divine right reach me now in great avalanches of abundance. Give me a definite lead. Let me know if there is anything for me to do. I am fully equipped for the divine plan of my life. I am fearless in grasping the opportunities which appear before me. I call for guidance and protection every minute. I practice the presence of God every minute. Nothing is too small to bring to God. I acknowledge Him at all times, and my affairs go smoothly and miraculously. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. I have a wonderful work. In a wonderful way, I give wonderful service for wonderful pay. I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing amounts from multiple sources on an ongoing basis. Again, the goal is mastery. It's like when someone comes in for an interview and they're wearing a classy dress and a decent pair of shoes. Then you know that person feels good about themselves, feels strong. But be careful here. The idea is not to go out and buy a lot of stuff, spend money on a lot of fancy clothes, and go into debt thinking that by acting powerfully, the abundance you attract will just take care of it. Debt is not the feeling you want. It's only going to pull you backwards. Go out and buy a nice suit, a nice dress, buy good shoes, have the very best quality, but only have one or two. And don't go for the cheap, the discount, because it will always have that cheap discount energy. You don't want that energy close to you, because how much money you make is directly linked to how good you feel about yourself. To attract wealth, we have to gain clarity, raise our energy, and invest ourselves in a product or service that we're genuinely excited about and really love. This energy will attract the right circumstances and right people towards us. This is a mechanism the ego has designed for its own survival. The ego tries to win acceptance from people. The ego wants to be loved. You want people to come up to you and love you. So the energy of love and service you put out there draws people to you, and the people will appear in droves. And when they arrive, you've got to be prepared to serve them and receive payment from them. Because there's only one place where you can get money, and that's from other people. Because when you're coming out of energy and you're coming out of love and you're coming out of transcendence, you're basically selling a higher ideal, and there's really no limit to what you can charge. Because when you're with a person who's enthusiastic, who's happy, who's putting their heart and soul into their product, you don't mind paying them. You feel the life force, you feel the God force, and that inspires you. It almost feels like you're transferring money from one part of yourself to another part of yourself. And all you really have to do is serve. Put your ego underneath the ego of your customers, underneath the people who are pulled to you. Then you have the ability to really serve them. You're coming out of loving people by serving them. And serving them means looking them in the eye, finding out what they want, and providing it for them. If you're a waiter, you aren't saying, "Oh, when does my shift end? Look how funny that guy's dressed. Why is he asking me for more sprinkles? I'm so crazy busy." Instead, you're coming out of, "How can I help you, sir? What can I do for you? Would you like ice? Would you like lemon water? What would you like? Would you like the lemon slice on this side of the glass or that side of the glass? Would you like another pillow, another cushion? And what can I get for your wife? What would she like? There isn't anything while you're in my care that I won't do for you. You want me to take your pet llama for a walk while you have a drink? No problem." And if you concentrate on making it fresh and clean and beautiful, people respond. If you're a waiter, that is how you quadruple your tips. And remember that you may be dealing with a person who's scared or lonely or their body aches or they need friendship or company, and that's what they showed up for. Because what they showed up for may not necessarily be your product. It may be something totally different. They came because of your energy. They came around for healing of one kind or another. Then you put yourself underneath them and they feel your support, and there you are, this confident, smiling, heroic being, and you're supporting them. You're coming out of service. Today in 2018 and going forward, our opportunity to create and market a product or service has never been greater. The world is changing, and with that change, the focus of control is shifting away from a system and towards the individual, towards us. We're less dependent on a system than ever before, and the system has less control over us than ever before. There is more opportunity now than ever before, and your opportunities will continue to grow exponentially. The American dream of a steady middle-class job and keeping up with the Joneses is over. Since the 2008 financial crisis, steady middle-class jobs are a thing of the past. Companies have either outsourced jobs to developing countries or replaced employees with technology. Millions of people who were encouraged to invest in their education and then find a steady job and live the American dream are now either unemployed or overqualified and underpaid for what they do. In the era of the American dream, success depended on someone else choosing you. For example, if you wanted a better job, you had to keep your head down and work hard, hoping your boss would notice you and single you out for promotion. We're moving into a new era of personal freedom. You no longer need anyone to make you a success. Instead, you can and you must choose yourself. With a smartphone or laptop and an internet connection, we have the freedom to do whatever we want. Again, we need to maintain our mental position of transcendence and abundance more than ever before. In the choose yourself era, working for someone else is no fun. Choosing yourself means cutting out the middleman and getting the most value from your sales. Don't work for a company that provides a certain service or product. Instead, provide it yourself. If there's a demand for what you offer, you stand a good chance of making your company a success. So start by choosing yourself. Reclaim control over your dreams and take full responsibility for your success and happiness. Only do those things that make you happy. Most people go through their lives doing things they don't want to do, which makes them stressed and unhappy. You should avoid this. Believe in yourself. Nothing is more important in the choose yourself era than self-empowerment. And if you're good, if you're really good, if you're coming out of love, you're coming out of service, you won't mind working hard. You won't mind expanding. You won't mind traveling. You won't mind trying something new. You'll learn what you need to know as you go along. You won't mind going out to meet people. We have to go against this belief that someone else has to choose us in order for us to advance. Our fear of rejection is behind our belief that we have to let others choose us, that we must let others, teachers, bosses, publishers, whoever, decide for us. When we let others decide our future, we expose ourselves to rejection, and then we end up experiencing that very thing we fear most. rejection. Our fear of rejection means we're forever waiting on someone else to decide our fate. You don't need to develop some incredible plan or go off to business school necessarily. Making even a small change in an otherwise crowded industry can open brand new untapped markets. You're looking to make a small shift in consciousness, a shift in dedication, understanding it's fine for you to be wealthy, understanding that you're infinite and there's no limit to how much wealth you can create for yourself. You're clear about what it is you want, you resonate that intention, you play fake it until you make it. Whether you got it or not, you're moving towards it no matter what. Increasingly, we'll work alongside artificial intelligence and robots. The jobs in the future will be those jobs that can't be done by robots, and there are huge gaps in what a robot can do. We have to proceed with this principle in mind. Repetitive blue-collar jobs will be wiped out. The automobile and textile industries are in danger. Non-repetitive jobs will thrive, such as construction workers, police, gardeners, garbage men, sanitation workers. White-collar workers that will be thrown out include middlemen, bookkeepers, agents, and tellers. We will need white-collar workers who engage in intellectual capitalism. This involves creativity, imagination, leadership, analysis, writing a book or script, doing science. Overall, these changes will benefit us in choosing ourselves and in pursuing our unique contribution. You move towards your goal no matter what. You resonate it, have it, being original, loving the people that are pulled to you by your service. And more than anything else, you show that you love yourself by charging enough. And you develop wealth. You find yourself moving out of struggle and into a natural flow. And that's how it was always meant to be. Life was never meant to be this incredible struggle, this incredible effort. You have this as a heritage. You can begin to reclaim what is rightfully yours, right here, right now, today.